listening to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
And we are back. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, Leatherhead Nation, to the Gettin Salty Experience, the only podcast that brings the Firehouse Kitchen Table to you. We got Chief Steve here, we got Roofy Roof, and we got Petey Pete's. Welcome back to the kitchen table. And like we say, the kitchen table is a place that we talk about many things. Many things happen at the kitchen table. They're not all laughs. They're not all funny hijinks. You know, some of it is sad stuff. Some of it is learning stuff. So we want to talk about, almost everybody knows what happened yesterday in the Bronx. It was a very sad day. We lost a lot of civilians, the most, I think, in 3 decades. I'm sorry?
Since the Happy Land fire.
Since the Happy Land fire. So what we want to do here is really talk about what we see in videos, what we see on the news. We're not here at all to Monday morning quarterback and say what should have been done, what wasn't done, what was done. We're here to say that the brothers did a fantastic job, went above and beyond, and just to talk about what we see. Like we said, we have quite a few pictures, we have quite a few videos. You know, of course, we were in touch with a lot of people, so we get some information on what had happened. And we also want to compare it to other things that have happened in the past and talk about the building itself. Because this building was the subject of a WNYF article back in 1986, and there have been similar fires and articles on buildings like this.
Well, we also want to get Chief Steve's view. You know, could you imagine being the chief in charge of that job? No. Right? Like, you know, so you want to get his view.
Why I'm retiring.
It's not even funny.
That's really, why he's getting out. Right.
And then we want to reiterate, you know, things that you're supposed to do. Not to say what was done here or wasn't done here, but what you're supposed to do and what at high-rise fires and little tricks that you can have.
Right. Reinforce the basics of what Correct. You should be doing. Right. That, like we said, we don't know exactly what happened with the first 2 companies that could do what it was a 5th alarm. But the brothers did a fantastic job. And like we say all the time, you can do things right to the T every time, and it can still go sideways, right? This business, this fire business, firefighting in general, is a very unique, and anything can happen. You know, it's.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I don't know. I mean, from talking to a few guys who were at this fire, I mean, obviously the loss of life that was there is it's just sad stuff. But we could have easily lost guys at this job without.
Yes.
Blinking an eyeball. I mean, thank God that didn't happen. So that could have easily happened.
And everybody who's there obviously did a tremendous job. It's like it's all across the board, recognized by civilians and firefighters alike. So, yeah, obviously we're not here to critique anyone.
Have you had? I'm not going to say you probably have had fatal fires in your career, right, Chief? As a chief, that is, or as a deputy, have you had fatal fires?
Yes, I've had several fatal fires.
Right. So what is that like? If you're in charge of a fire that's a fatal fire, give us a little insight on what it's like to be a chief at a fatal fire like that.
Being number one, you always hope that there are always going to be fire fatalities. You know, that's the history of this job. You can't go for any amount of time and be a chief officer and not be the chief at a fatal fire. I don't know anybody that I even know guys that were just ADCs and ABCs that have been in charge of fatal fires. You can't be a chief for any amount of time and not be the chief at a fatal fire. That being said, you know, and it's there's different degrees of how bad, you know, fatalities at fires are. You know, sometimes you have a fatal where, you know, some older people die from smoke, and then you have, you know, fatal fires like this one yesterday where you have children that die. And to me, that was always worse. I've had multiple fires where I've had, you know, where have children die too, and that's just always worse. What I haven't had, and I'm glad because I am at the end of my career, I've never had a fire where one of our guys was lost to the fire. So that one I've avoided.
Right.
And that's not as prevalent as, like I say, civilians, because every year, we lose. I don't know how. I mean, when I first came out of job, we were averaging like, I don't know, about over 300 people a year dying, 3 to 350 a
Right.
year.
Now I think it's about 100, give or take.
Now it's, like I say, under 100, but still, when you do the math, there's 9 divisions, 100 people die. You know that every division has some degree of failed fires. Some
Right.
more, of course, like the 15th Division, which is a bigger division, has the most battalions. They more or less lead the job every year in fatals for a couple of reasons. They have the biggest area. They
Fire load. They have a big fire load in the 15th.
they have a lot of busy companies, a lot of busy battalions.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
they have a lot of. But we've had a lot of fatalities, and I've been in the division for 20 years. We've had our share of fatal fires. So, and not just me. Like I say, Chief Ferran, Cucurullo, we've all gone to fatal fires. Matter of fact, I was in the division today, and there was a folder on the desk. Of course, there was an ADC, and he said, any information on, I forget, box something, 7 something, to leave it for him, a covering guy. I don't remember his name right now. So every chief will, at some time or another, be involved in a fatal fire.
Right. I wanted to say too, we talk about the impact, psychological impact that this job has on guys. And I've seen this for myself. I mean, I've been at fatal fires myself. One that stands out is I came across an infant on a bed one time. It didn't even, it resembled an infant, but those things stick with you. And these guys, for that amount of life that was lost, and that kind of trauma that guys, I've been at jobs. I was at a job one time in, we were going over to Jamaica down south because 270 was an engine on a box. And there was a fire in a private dwelling in the attic. And I remember seeing guys in busy companies choked up and saying that there was a fatal fire and there was kids that were lost. And they were choked up and saying, I couldn't make that room. They were literally in tears saying they couldn't make that room to get to that kid. So, the effect that it has on people, on the brothers themselves, it's huge. It's a huge traumatic effect. Even, they don't realize it. They go home, it sits in their head, stuff that you see like that. You take that with you for the rest of your career. Right, Roof?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're on the job, you're going to have, like the chief said, it's just a matter of the odds. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
So everybody has those jobs that stick out to them. Most of the time it is kids, but
right.
I mean, going back to the previous fire before this, where you had the most amount of loss of life at the Happy Land fire, I knew guys that operated at that box, and they just said it was surreal.
Right.
They immediately got I think it was 80 something people. I don't remember the exact number.
87, I believe.
Yeah, but they were just, everybody was walking around in shock because the bodies were just piled on top of each other because they were all trying to get to the exit.
Mm-hmm.
And when the guy, that was a Bronx too, and I knew one of the lieutenants, I forget which engine it was, and he said they were in there and they were crawling over bodies they didn't even realize.
Mm-hmm.
So of course that's going to have, unless you're you have to be a very detached person not to have some sort of reaction to something like a traumatic experience like that.
That was the first thing I was thinking about, Steve, with this job was, again, we've been to the jobs before, but listening to the radio on this type of job, like when you have multiple things going on, where guys are trying to put the fire out and there's 1045s all over the place. And I don't know if there was any Maydays at this job. I don't know if there was any urgents given at this job. So, I didn't listen to the whole thing. I only listened to maybe 2 minutes of the beginning or 3 minutes of the audio. So I'm actually anxious to listen to that a little bit myself of this job. But I know how, like we talk about it, as you get amped up, listening to stuff as things could be going bad. That's where it really takes the chief or officers or somebody to take charge, because it could get totally out of control. Like if nobody's jumping into the to put it on the path.
High-rise fires, like this kind of building, is a lot more stressful because you can't see a lot of what's going on. A lot of what's going on you can't see. I mean, in the videos there they show you fire blowing out the window, but a huge building like that, the internals, 2 stairways, filled with smoke from from the top down, every floor, the conditions on every floor. And what starts going through your head is that you need all of these resources. You're going to need all these resources to check all these different things out. What the elevator banks checked,
Yeah.
Well, like I say, both stairways from top to bottom, all the hallways. If there's so many different things that you can't. This is stuff you have in your mind. And in this particular building, I think there were just 2 stairways. I don't know, but you have some of these high-rise buildings where there's 4 stairways, there's 6. So now the problem, your resource problem, and your thinking gets even better. And how many banks of elevators are there? And have they set up a command channel before you get there? Have they designated the attack stair and the evacuation stair? And has that been transmitted over the radio? That's one of the things that I would always ask on my way in. If they gave the 77 and that before I got in, is have they designated the attack stairway? Have they designated the evacuation stairway? So you want to get that. Right. So you want everyone that's responding to know that.
Right.
On these 1077s, you're going to have a lot of units that are responding, because when the 1077, that's when I respond. That's when a lot of other units respond. So they want to get as much information too as possible. So that those are some of the things you're thinking.
I think this building did have SIDS too. I'm pretty sure it
had.
I'm
sure.
It's supposed to be supposedly what we got so far is this is a federal building, right? So all of our regulations and our fire, right, they don't pertain to these type of buildings, correct? Or it's
not, like I say, that I heard the same thing, that it's a federal building, but then today in the paper I saw that they had a realty group that owned the building. So when you see things in the media, I don't know how many times I've been at a fire and then read the story of the fire, and they
don't match up. They don't align.
Right. But the thing is, maybe the building, maybe it was federally built. I'm pretty sure it was built by HUD or Urban Renewal or something like that. But that doesn't mean they still own it.
Right. Well, we have that WNYF from 86 on this very building, and I believe it says federal building, but who knows what happened since 86 and today. But,
and, when it's built, if it's built by the federal government, then it doesn't have to follow the city code.
No, it doesn't.
But then I don't know, when the building is sold, do they then have to bring it up? If a private owner, do they have to bring it up to the city code?
Right.
And if they do, how much of a time period are they given to get it up to the code, and who's checking that it is brought up to the code?
Right. Well, I was talking to Hank, and he was at the Schomburg Plaza, which was a federally owned building too, which is, we talked about that in the past and how there were no code. So that's why that was such a shit mess, and that went sideways. And that was a what do you call it? Fire, federal. Right? Right. Yep. And that was just a compactor fire. Right. Right. So, but the codes, there's no codes on that building. So I assume
they didn't have the fire rating around the compactor that the city required.
Right.
It was supposed to have 3 hours, and it was like 2 hours.
Right. And that's what happened with this building, right? Coobs in
86. Yeah, we're going to look at that. We're going to jump on that
to get out of the compactor. Shoot.
Right, in 86, and that's why this building was in that WNYF article. But let's pull it back a little bit. Let's set up the stage for how this, when this box came in.
Let me do that. I'll show some photos while you tell that story. Right. Go for it.
We can roll. It was about 11 o'clock, right, on Sunday, late Sunday. This is just a brothers pack and hose. Pete.
Right.
No, I know. I'm just going to keep rolling through all the photos as Coob sets the stage. That's
right.
That's for everybody who's watching.
Yeah, Pete, you can roll that. Let's roll the audio of the box coming in, and then you can see. I mean, everybody's seen the fire blowing out the windows, so that's not going to be anything different.
Stand by here for one moment.
In the Bronx, state telephone alarm, the box is 3162. The address 333 East 181 Street. That's over T-Bout Avenue. Reported to be a fire, apartment 3 Eddie. The phone along the box is 3162. The address 333 East 181 Street off of T-Bout. Reported to be a fire, apartment 3, Eddie. Bronx and tower ladder 33, Kit.
Ladder 48 to Bronx, urgent.
Who's got the urge?
Engine 48. Transmit to 1077. We got smoke from the rear of the building.
All right, 10-4.
For 42 just said, fire, just give guys a heads up to get heavy fire blower out the rear of the apartment.
All right, 10-4. Bronx to the 1-9.
Alright, the attached stairway, there'll be stair bays, and we need 21045 coming out of the apartment. We need EMS northwest.
All right, 10-4. Battalion 26, Kit.
Yeah, Buck, 3162, transmit the third alarm.
In the borough of the Bronx, a third alarm has been transmitted for box 3162. The address 333 East 181 Street. That's off of T-Bout Avenue. Fires in the third floor of a 19-story occupied MD. Third alarm being transmitted for box 3162. 333 East 181 Street off of T-Bout. Fires on the third floor of a 19-story occupied MD. Bronx to the 7th Division, K.
Take a 7.
1-5 Henry, 1-2 Adam, 1-5 Eddie, 1-9 Sam, all for smoke.
Take a 7, 10-4.
Also, your staging chief is going to be the 1-4 Battalion, Division 7.
Take a 7, 10-4.
Dispatch at 150, the time now is 112. Fourth alarm for box 3162, the address 333 East 181 Street off of T-Bout. Flies on the third floor of a 19-brick occupied MD. Bronx to the 7th Division, K.
Division 7.
All right, those two additional trucks you asked for are going to be tower ladder 4-4 and ladder 3-6. Upon transmission of the fourth, you got your 4 engines. Do you want 2 more trucks on top of that? Division 7.
Division 7, 10-4 with the extra truck.
All right, 10-4.
We lost Coob, so I guess I'll be back in a moment.
Badge at 150 at 1122. 48.
10-8-37 trucks response area.
Okay. All right, 10-4.
If you guys want, I can push forward a little bit. That's where we're at. So
I mean, this
4
is
Battalion 4. Time now, 1123 hours, dispatch at 4.
obviously the audio is not exact with the video.
what we're seeing, of course. Yeah. This is just so we don't stare at each other.
On 103,
10.6,
103, Battalion 1 more.
Shout out to FDRV for the video.
Pete, I sent you another that has the rate.
You just sent it to me now?
I emailed you one with the handy.
Division 7.
Yeah.
1-2 Frank, people trapped, 9 King for smoke.
Got it.
Division 7, 10-4.
All right, Division 7 also 1-5 Mary, sheltering in place, 5 people.
Division
Bronx to 48 trucks.
Ladder 48.
Take it in.
48 truck, 10-4, response. Stop at the command. Command to your call. Go ahead, 4-6 chauffeur. I got another 1045. I'm gonna leave him in apartment 6 Charlie. I said, well, I'm gonna send you 36 trucks to the 6th floor of this.
So, Peter, just stop that there for 1 second.
Yep.
Just, I had talked about this earlier, and so just from my perspective, when I look at the back of this building here, the way those windows are set up, it's just something don't seem right to me. Right? It just doesn't seem right to me unless you came from this area and know these buildings first do. Obviously, that's one thing, but once you get to 4th, 5th alarms, you show up here and look at the back of that building. I mean, that could be a jigsaw puzzle to me, right? You have no idea what windows go to what apartment or any of that stuff. I mean, obviously, maybe coming in, it's a duplex because that's what it was on the SIDS. But looking at that makes me nervous just looking at that. I mean,
I'm trying to find a pattern. I'm trying to find a pattern right now. And I really, I can see the small bathroom windows there, but other than that, you got a 3-window, a 2.
I don't even forget it, Kev. You can't even do it. It doesn't match up to anything. And then on top of that, just looking at that video, just to give props to that son of a gun who was on that 35. Holy shit, bro. Yeah, man. I've been on 35 only a few times, but I never took somebody down like, he took three or four people out of that. He took the glass, it looked like, and then he took somebody out there. So no doubt.
Pete, is this the other one now that you?
No, I have the other one. I can put that up now if you like.
Okay, it looks like they got handy talkie here too. So, but so just scroll a little.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like that the like the 2nd floor down to the 1st is a duplex going down. Then it looks like the 3rd floor. That looks like it's a 1 floor, and the one above looks like it's another one with a duplex going down. So.
Duplex down, duplex
almost
down.
Almost like a sandwich type, what they call.
QC is saying
on 1 floor.
So those single windows are like what's separating those single windows going across, and you see the single windows going across. Yeah.
Those are single
separating.
Separated.
I think those are bedroom windows.
Huh.
Whereas I think the ones where you have the wide windows are like living room, dining room.
Right.
So, I mean, what we understood this to be, and again, when we talked about this, we don't want to be throwing bad information out there, but we understood it to be 3rd floor going down to the 2nd floor as a duplex. But
should I show that photo?
We don't know.
Pete, you can show that photo. We got a picture of the interior.
Again, because you're looking at the rear of the building.
Right.
Is that the 3rd floor or is it the 2nd floor?
Could be step off. Right.
I don't know because I'm looking at the rear of the building. So I really can't tell you.
Yeah. So there's the stairs going down. So there's
again.
No, is that the rear? Those windows.
This was just somebody sent me this through the interior, and then they sent me a hallway picture. So again, what we understood from the news and some people that the apartment door was left open. Right. From what I also understand, you don't
know if the apartment door was open.
The apartment door was open.
What?
How it was open, we don't know.
You don't know. The apartment door is open. It's obviously open because you have so much damage.
Correct.
To the wall. So the apartment door is open. Like I say, of what cause you don't know at this point. That's all you know.
Right. Now that's supposed to be normally, like my mother-in-law said, she lives in a high-rise too, and there's still self-closing doors. So you don't know if this was broken, purposely disabled, or left open by sticking something in it.
Or on the way out, somebody, you could have a person that's in that doorway, and that's
they gave it 10:45 early on when they first went in. They said 10:45, right. So it could have been a person, it could have been a body in the door.
I had a fatal fire on New Year's 4 or 5 years ago, where one of the civilians was caught
shocking the door open.
And when they came in with the line, they got the line tangled with him.
Oh boy!
And they couldn't move the line, and he was a big guy. They were having a hard time moving him out. And all the while, now, the apartment door is open because he's straddling it.
Right.
So you don't know, all you know, like I say, is the door is open.
Right.
Right.
There's several possibilities of why the door is open, but the door is open because the fire is going out into the hallway
Right.
and up the stairs,
Right.
meaning that somewhere, again, the hallway door, the stairway doors are now open or have been opened. They may not still be open, but if the
At one
stairways,
point, they could. Right. They could.
if the
If they have
stairways
smoke
have
throughout.
smoking, they were
Right.
open at one point. They still might still be open. You don't know until you check
Right.
it out. And like I say, that they'll do a total investigation and find out which hallway doors, which
Right.
stairway doors were left open, which ones were open. The the floors that have no smoke damage on them, there were doors that were not opened.
Right. So
Well, again,
what we're saying is a fire investigation has not been done. So we're just taking information that we have, and we are just critiquing whatever information we are. Not really critiquing. We're just talking about whatever information that we have.
Yeah.
That's been presented to us. So,
Yeah.
like we said, it's not that there has been no fire investigation. That will all come out. But
Again-
one thing that
Go ahead, Coop. No, go ahead. Get finished.
So one thing that I did, somebody had told me that in these types of buildings, okay. Now we say, why are there so many people in the hallway? Well, maybe some people were leaving in a panic. Like I used to tell my mother all the time on the 14th floor, if there's a fire in your building, shut the door, put rags down, and just stay in your apartment. A lot of people don't know that. People panic or whatever it is. But another possibility is that somebody had told me that in these types of buildings, they built these kitchen vents that went up that line of apartments that would pump air into every apartment. So now I had seen also in an interview, they had a lady who was on the upper floors, 13, 14, 15, and she said that her entire apartment was black. So is it possible that the smoke got into this vent shaft and came out into all the apartments, forcing the people out into the hallway? Maybe. I don't know. That's just a piece of information that I had gotten somebody about the history of these buildings and how they were built.
Like I said, I take it for what you want. And I just in the pre-show we were talking to Chief Steve about this. I've been to 1077s, right? When I'm responding to a 1077, you know what I'm thinking? It's bullshit.
You wish you were
right?
home?
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's just torture. It's just because if I'm going to the floor above, you won't even smell smoke generally, right? I mean, it's guys in the first floor on the fire floor. That's it. You don't do anything, right?
Well, I mean, if you're listening
For the most part.
Yeah, but if you're listening to the audio of that,
I'm just saying what
I'm
I
just
hear
saying,
at
those
1077,
guys-
I'm thinking,
those
holy
guys
shit,
were
this
right
is-
on. Number one, getting the 77 out. All he said was there was smoke.
Right. He didn't even say there was fire. Right. Yeah.
Right. Which
No doubt. Great.
So he started and he gave the
Attack staircase right away. Yep.
Right away. I mean, those are two critical pieces of information that you want to have. To get once you give the 77, you got you got resources rolling, and now everyone knows where the attack stairway is. So that's the important stuff. And the next thing would be to, like I say, designate a command channel, which on the 77, all the chiefs that are coming in should, especially with today, with the younger chiefs that are there, this stuff is much easier. It goes much easier when they first started bringing it in, like everything else, when you change what guys have been doing for years, it's not as easy as when you train guys that way. And all the chiefs now have been trained that way. They're all ready to set up the command channel. They're all ready for the designated, all that stuff. They've been trained, and that's what they used to. 20 years ago, we didn't do a lot of that stuff. So for guys to do it automatically, you didn't get as much now. Like I said, a lot of the young chiefs, they're right on top of that, and they do all of that stuff automatically because that's what they've been trained. They knew it as company officers. They knew it as firemen.
Right.
15, 20 years ago, we didn't do any of that. So when you came in and now you're a chief and you're changing everything that you do, it didn't come as easy.
I mean, they didn't even have sectors like they have today. They didn't even have command. It would say, SWAT show for Division 14. It wouldn't be SWAT show for the command, right? They didn't even have that structure set up yet.
All of that grew out of actually 9/11. All of that came from things that the fire department, that we, FDNY, learned of how a large operation was set up into command into different sectors like that. And we learned that from the outside firefighters that we brought in after, like I say, 9/11. They taught us, because we were just doing structural firefighting, and we like I say, you called a unit, you called them by name.
Right.
No sectors, no designation other than that.
No
And
command.
all of that changed after 9/11, and it did take a while to do it because we were set in our ways. But now it's fully, it's
like
fully
you said,
in there.
it
And
was
all
much easier
all the
than
young
you guys.
seasoned, they do it automatically. They're right there, and they're very good with it.
Yeah,
So-
we would. Yeah, Ruff.
There were some guys I just saw in the chat were saying that there was, even in some of the videos, you could see smoke out of the top floor. And actually on the audio, he starts giving apartments, right? 15.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So a few of the guys that I know, when they got there, he sent them to the upper floors. These guys were telling me, like, it was from from the time they got in there, it was lights out the whole, every floor. The third floor, there was guys at the door. There was smoke coming out, like, of the seam of the door. Like, that's how much was pushing. And it was lights out the whole way. So guys were on air the whole time. Like, there was like pitch black.
Whether there was more than one apartment involved, or was it just the one apartment?
Well, again, we get back to saying, I'm not 100% sure, but from what I understood, the apartment directly across door was open, left open, was open.
Was in the open position. Let's put it
in
that
the open position. And I think that, I don't know if it was fully involved, but I do believe that some fire got across or was out into the hall into that, and probably was helped with that.
But just when, even if you say two apartments were involved, let's just say two apartments were involved. You filled up a 19-story building with smoke.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
And you can hear it.
Legit smoke too, not a little bit of smoke, like you can't see smoke.
You filled up a 19-story building with smoke that was enough to asphyxiate at least a dozen people. You're talking about on different floors throughout the building, in one apartment, and that's also one of the differences from today, because as you see that apartment blowing out there, it's all pitch black smoke. That's all just household stuff, because it's all has a petroleum base. It's all so much plastic and everything that we have that it like I say, it's like a petroleum fire. Whereas 30 years ago, that smoke wouldn't have been black like that, and
you get one breath of that. That's it.
Oh, you can't take that.
Yeah,
you can't. It closes your throat right away.
Jimmy Cliff said the door across was open.
Yeah, I saw that. He said the door. Like you'll hear in the radio transmissions later, the handy talkies, guys are giving 1045s, and you can hear the vibro alert going off. So those guys, it was like you said, it was lights out. From what I heard from a couple of guys that were there too, they were like all the way up to the top floor. It was zero.
There was no refuge. You would have to force a door in pitch black conditions to get refuge into an apartment, unless you had something that was left open. But to even find a door, you know what I mean? Like,
I said these guys did an outstanding job, bro. Because there could have been a lot, like you just said, Ruffy. Could have been one of the brothers going down easily. And
who do you call him? I also understand that the EMS did an outstanding job working on a lot of these people. So.
Yes, I heard that at one point there was like in front of the building. There was 12 victims getting CPR right there in front of the building. So that's in itself to see that. And I know that they were calling in extra engines just for CFR. They were saying, just bring your CFR stuff up. That's all we need you to bring up. So
think about this. So the elevators aren't working. You climb up, walk up to the 16th floor, 17th floor, 18th floor. You find somebody, and now you got to bring them down.
Yep.
In zero visibility, basically, on air.
Yeah.
And that's what these guys were. This is what these guys were doing, which is, it's easy peasy sitting here or watching the news. But until you drag somebody, that ain't no joke, man. In zero visibility on air, that's no joke.
Only one guy, one of the brothers went to the hospital. Am I correct?
I believe so.
I believe that is the case. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
actually, Pete,
they're better.
we have our brand new mayor who actually gave kudos to the fire department. If you want to roll that.
Yeah,
So-
for sure. Found this clip earlier today, and this was pretty cool to see. Check this out.
Could have been worse. Those firefighters are real heroes.
Oh, they were. Many of them, their oxygen tanks were on empty, but instead of turning back and exiting the building, they pushed through the smoke. And you also heard at the beginning of your broadcast many of the residents. We saw who we are as New Yorkers during difficult and tough times. Those residents came together to help each other, and this was a significant moment, and we would not have gotten through it at this level if it wasn't for everyone rallying to assist the people in that building.
That's a pretty big
For
kudos.
that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby Sarno in the chat was saying that there were a mix of duplex up and duplex down, which makes it even more complicated, right? Because if you're in some of those on a duplex up or down, will they have a door at the top? Well, you don't know if it's going down, you don't know if it's going up. Very confusing, no?
Yep. I'm saying, and then there's in a lot of those buildings, sometimes in between, there's a floor with apartments that are just on the one floor.
Yeah, so it's like you said, a sandwich. Yeah,
right.
That's a total. And now if it's in blacked out conditions, forget it.
I'll tell you right now. Every time I heard the word duplex, it never went good. You know what I mean? I've never had anybody come out of duplex say, "Oh, that went good." Right?
Yeah.
Never.
I don't like duplex, and I don't like the word subcellar.
Yeah.
There you
Me
go.
and Chief Steve, we're like this. I like it. Yeah. I told you.
Yeah.
Triple subcellar.
Yeah, Pete, roll it a little more now. Let me hear a little more.
Yeah, and I was informed by some guys in the chat that the remainder of this video that we're showing, the FDRV video, is all handy talkies. So here we go.
Colorado 2-3. Colorado 2-3. 23 reported to the front of the fire building at the command post. Oh, so just be careful with that wall. 927-10-4. 927 engine 75. Engine 75. Who will leave you on your line? Engine 6. Jimmy Gleiser. 3-2, okay. 4-6, 5 sector. Command to ladder 4-6 chauffeur. Colorado. 4-5, go ahead. 4-6 chauffeur. I got 5 occupants of apartment. Ladder 3-6. I'm sending the 2A battalion to be the sector on those lower floors. You work with me. 10-4. 6, 7, 8. The ladder 4-6 chauffeur. We got a pass to the fifth. I see the command. Command to the fire sector. Fire sector. Division setting command to the fire sector. 919 fire sector, what's up? Hey, John, apartment 3, John, can you check? We have a report of somebody still in there, possibly 2 people inside 3, John. 3 to command. Command to rescue 3. Okay. Maybe the elevator bulkhead open. That can take a lot of smoke out of these hallways. But again, now anybody who's in an attack stairway to victim, to bring him into the evacuation stairway, which is the A stairway. Bring him to evacuation. Because it's going to go to 1045. The 2-0 working on the search for the evacuation. They're aware about the you need a couple trucks to work on this floor. We sected it up.
There goes the glass.
Command to battalion 2-0. 2-0. Battalion 4 reporting somebody trapped at 9 points. All right, 10-4. We got people coming down both stairwells. We're getting up there right now. I'll check out 9 boys. Division 7 command to ladder 3-6. Can you set a team to 9 board and hit 9 board for 3-6 chauffeur, 10-4. Battalion 1-8 command. Got multiple people walking down the A evacuation stairway and a few people being carried. 15 floors for taking. Seven Adam and 1-5 Victor. Command. Command's got 2 1045s coming outside right now. SAE to command. Division 7 command, go ahead. Correction, that's the A stairway, the 15th floor. They got the removal 1045, one's a kid, one's a female. Taking them down the stairs now. We could use an elevator. If you get an elevator on the 14th or 13th, on the
That's pretty much it, though, Coop. No, I mean, that's pretty much at the end here.
To give you a hand. We'll check up the elevator. 4-1, hope to command. The victim, 26 Spectre, removing the victim. Division 7, fire sector. To the beach of Pan at 1025, close to 11th floor. 4.3 of the communication. 1-4-6 to command, another 145, 14th floor, first floor. We're going to
14th floor.
4-1, hope to command. Unit call to command. 4-1 Hawk. Get 4-1 Hawk. 4-1 Hawk, I got 2 1045 sheltering in place in 7 Tom. Alright, 10-4, report down to the 2-0. He's got that set.
They're pouring in the 1045s.
Well, the one guy said, the one report was 11. You can hear it in the background. 11 1045s, code 2.
What is that fast dancing? 5-49, you're on the 3 top floor sector to command.
Kev, just for me, because I don't know, and for maybe anyone else listening, is code 2 like non-ambulatory? What does that mean?
Code 1 is done, right? Code 1 is dead. Code 2 is code 3. They're basically walking out themselves. Code 2, you're taking them out.
4 is walking out.
Oh, 4 is walking out. Right, I'm sorry.
2 is pretty much dead, almost dead.
Right. 3 is they need assistance getting in. Put that on pause for a minute, Pete.
Yep.
Now, Chief, you're the chief at this job. The fire's out a decent amount of time, right? And now you hear all these 1045s pouring, and you're like, what the fuck is going on in there, man? Like, what do you say to yourself?
Say to yourself, first of all, you better make sure the command board is up so that you can keep track of everything that's going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies all over the place.
Yeah. Like I say, not to, because every fire is different. And you know, if the events happen very quickly, it's hard to set up the, you know, what you would actually want to do there. Now, like in this fire, I don't have the time frame, so I can't really say what, you know, where they are. But if you notice, you have individual units calling command constantly. Boom, right? They should be calling the sectors, okay? Because you're going to overrun command. You know, command can't answer to, if he's got 25 units in there and the 25 units have 5 guys, you know, and some of them are not, you know, and calling, you cannot handle that. That's why we, like I say, that we have what we have, but sometimes it gets done so quickly that you can't get that structure into place.
Right.
You know, you're supposed to have a fire floor sector on above.
I did hear a fire floor sector. I heard somebody.
I heard him ask for the fire floor sector, but now the units that are above, they should be calling him, not command. Right. And then the floor above sector should be reporting in on what he hears.
Right.
And actually, they should be doing that on the command channel, and the guys that are operating on the tactical should be talking to the sector chief directly, and the SAE chief, which would be five floors above that, they got to talk to them. Otherwise, you overrun the communication, and you lose a lot of things. That's because people start stepping on each other too. You can only handle so much on one channel. But again, what happens is, like I say, sometimes this is over so quickly that you can't get everything into place that you would want to, and the way that you want to do it.
Yeah, and also too, guys, I don't know that they expected to see what they got, that much smoke up there, that many 1045. So maybe, and all the stress, and it was a little overwhelming. Maybe they didn't realize they should be contacting this person, that guy, that sector, whatever it is,
Again, this is what we'd like to do. It doesn't always happen in real time the way we want, for a lot of different reasons. The units can be up there before you get the sector chiefs up there,
right?
And then they just they're used to now talking because that was who they were talking to, so they continue talking to that person until the sector chief or the floor above chief tells them that they all right, don't call command anymore, call me. Right. So in real system, but it varies from operation to operation because it takes a while to put that system into place. And if the operation is over before the system is into place, then we don't. Once the fire is out, a lot of times we don't think about setting up that system. Guys come and the fire's been knocked down, and then all of a sudden you have other.
Well, that's what I'm saying to you. Like, you see that the fire is knocked down, then all of a sudden this overwhelming amount of calls coming in.
The fire is not the problem.
Right.
The fire is not the problem. The fire's been knocked down, and you probably only used 2 lines at this fire, maybe 3. And but you have a 5th alarm there, which means you got a ton of engines. And granted that you have high-rise fire. So if you have 3 lines stretched, you're using 6 engines because you're using 2 engines on each line. But still, you have a ton of engines that you can use for CPR for units. They can assist in search if that's what you assign them to. But you have a big logistical task there because you have a lot of units. Guys want to do things, and you have to keep track of guys that have left before you got there. So an operation like that, you get there, especially as a division. Normally, there's tons of units that are already in the building. Now, one of your biggest things is accountability for those units. And all right, now they're in there for a while. Do they need relief? Do I have relief? Make sure when I that I get them out and that I'm accounting with them, that they come to the command post and let me know they're out of the building. And who's relieving them, and what they were supposed to do. Did they finish what they were supposed to do? I sent these guys up to check apartment A, C, whatever number of apartments. Now their Bible alerts are going off and they got to come out. Did you get all those apartments that you were assigned? There's, like I say, it becomes a job like this. You can hear with the amount of apartments that have to be checked and the floors, and that it's going to be a big logistical job to get all of this done, even though the fire is out.
That's why, Chief, on this type of job, I think they did use. Oh, I'm getting feedback. They did use the fans at this job.
I would
think so.
Ruffy, you just read my mind, kid.
When do you do that? I mean, obviously I was above my pay grade. So when does the fire have to be out? Obviously, when do you start doing that?
When do you start doing that? Whenever you think that they can be helpful for what you're going to do. The fire doesn't have to be out. Depends on what you're using them for. You could use them to be pressurizing the attack stairway. In which case, the fire would
happen a lot in Manhattan. I never saw it that much.
It's not the jobs like this don't happen a lot. That's why they're not as easily, everything doesn't go as well, because they're not like our regular fires where you go in and with a line, you knock the fire down, you search. These fires, they're always different. a big building like this, like I say, how many stairways, how many elevator banks, all of these different things come into play. Whereas our bread and butter fires are 2- and 3-story buildings where, or even a 6-story multiple dwelling where we go in, a couple of lines, we knock it. That's where most of our fires are. It's these kind of fires that we don't have as much, that are, the buildings are so different, just like you get a commercial high rise, where now the difference is you're dealing with big open spaces per floor, versus a high rise multiple dwelling. You're compartmented. The buildings are compartmented into the apartments, so at least you're not dealing with that. But you have other concerns. In a high rise commercial, you have big open spaces, a whole floor, and you have a whole bunch of other problems. Do they have a raised floor in there? Do they have, how is the plenum going over the whole, the whole floor there? Do they have sprinklers?
Ruffy, that Manhattan stuff is. I don't like that Manhattan stuff, Ruffy.
Well, it's like anything else. It's just something that they don't have many fires in those buildings, but when they get them, a decent fire, they can be problems because you don't have the constant experience of doing them over and over again. They're few and far between, and usually any kind of substantial fire in the building like that means that something's not operating right. The sprinkler's not up and running the way it's supposed to, or for some reason the fire overcame the sprinkler. You had and so you got a problem, a fire like that.
I got another question for you.
Yep.
This is just a personal view for you. What is your thoughts of 2.5 versus 1 3/4 at a job like this?
You got to use a 2.5, and it's not a. Well, I mean, now they're using the. You probably don't even know because you're out of the job. They have a 2-inch that they're using now, a lighter weight that they're addressing this with, and they were, I haven't even been. Because they brought it in, they took it out and they brought it back in. Now they have a lead length that's a 2-inch, a slider, but gives a good supply of water. You need the extra water. You can't, as much as you want to use the 1 3/4 for the mobility, you need it for the, you just need it for the amount of fire that it'll put out. You just can't, you can't do it. I've had, going back, it's in a WIF too. There was there was a fire in the Empire State Building on the 70-something floor. I forget exactly what it was. And the building, the Empire State Building, had a fire tower too. So they were trying to go through the fire tower to get it. And this thing the fire had actually blown down and melted the railing in the fire tower. They had two hands. They couldn't get it. They found another stairway. They came up alongside of it with a 2.5, and they went in and they knocked it down. But I say you need that firepower.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard of jobs in projects like that where it takes 2.5 to get down the hallway, right? Where the door's left open. Plenty. I've heard that.
Well, I mean, you can go both ways with that too. You could say that if you get it in fast enough, now it's not. I'm just being devil's advocate because I'm not talking about the 70th floor where, maybe it's blowing 40 miles an hour outside. I get that part. There's going to be scenarios where you need that, but there's also scenarios where you could jump in there with 1 3/4 and the mobility. I mean, you use a 2.5, but 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you're done. You know what I mean?
Need to have happen to you. It may, you may be going fine, and all of a sudden the window fails.
I got you.
And in the blink of an eye, everything's changed. And like I say, you want to have as much water as you can possibly have.
I just hate hanging on to that thing. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, what if you had to operate that yourself? Stretch it, bring it in, bring it back out, bring it in, bring it. You know what I'm talking about, right?
There's all kinds of alternatives now. Keeping the fire door closed and breaching a wall. Keeping the fire door closed. If the floor is low enough, knocking it down with a towel.
I'm saying, like even Timmy's saying, the systems aren't set up in 3/4. I get that, but for something that you could stretch from the street, That's all I'm saying. Like something quick, obviously. But
I mean,
listen, I'm just bringing it up. That's all.
Hey, it's food
I
for
mean,
thought, Ruffy. It's good.
I'll tell you, I mean, in the history of this job, we know that guys used to do this. This was I'm pretty sure that.
Don't say it. Don't
No,
say
do
it.
that. Well, they had it lead length.
It was standard
just record a
procedure
lead length.
to
That is correct.
use the recorder.
I don't
Until
know
they
who that
got
could
jammed
be.
up. They got jammed up, and and
We won't say names. We
there
don't
was
have to
help
say
to
names.
pay, and you have
Right.
to. Number one, everyone has to do the same thing. All right, there can't be any
No, I got what you're saying.
deviation, and the
No, I get what
standards.
you're saying.
These are the standards that the job has adapted over. I mean, they're constantly testing. It isn't like the job isn't just laying back and saying this is what we do, and you just have to live with it. They're constantly doing their
Right.
best, to accommodate the different situations. And like I say,
And they're testing it legit.
right? The fire, the fire situation has changed. The load has changed. Everything has changed, and the job is doing their best to keep up with it. And they always have the best intention, but and the chiefs and the guys that you have now at the top of the job, they're
No doubt.
Yeah, I wanted to mention one other thing, which is key that kind of goes unnoticed sometimes, and that's the job of the dispatcher at these jobs. Sometimes, man, like we've had on Warren, right? We had the beef man on, and when shit goes down, a good dispatcher can make I think. I don't know how Chief Steve
makes a big difference.
it makes or breaks the scenario. And this guy, I don't know who this guy was. I know it was his last tour, but he did a great job, man.
He's in the chat, I believe.
He's like the maestro. He's like the guy on the you over there. But they can make.
A good dispatcher is a big help.
Yeah, I mean, I can listen to those guys. Like I like to listen to old tapes too of Warren. That guy's like unique. I go up the 3 blocks, make a right. You'll see a Kentucky Fried Chicken on the right. Go down 3 blocks, make a left. But this guy, I don't know who he is. He did a great job, man. It's just somebody told me it was his last tour.
Jimmy
so
R.
It's Jimmy R in the chat. Guys, it's Jimmy R.
who?
Jimmy R, who is currently in the chat.
Jimmy R. Great job, Jimmy R. Great job.
Yeah, seriously.
And congratulations on your retirement, man. But like I said, they can make or break a job like that, man. It's unbelievable.
There's always been the history. There's always been dispatchers that have been, known for being very, very good dispatchers. Who do you call him was a good dispatcher? The guy that.
Who are you gonna say? Your buddy?
Yeah. What?
Yak?
No.
Yak.
Yak was a good dispatcher. He was a good
Yak
dispatcher.
was good. Yeah, he was good. I like the Yak.
This is Queens 324.
324. Yeah, I know. He just recently passed away.
And he passed away. Yeah. But he was a very good dispatcher, and like I say, there have been some very good
too. Epstein was good too.
Oh, Epstein.
Yeah, little Epstein was good.
Remind me of Joe Pesci when he was.
Yeah, he was Pesci.
I would love to. I would love to ask Jimmy R. What it was like on his very last day of work yesterday. I mean, I'm sure he's going to say just
Phone
like
dispatcher.
what all you freaking guys do. It was just me doing the job. It was the guys on the like he's just. I'm sure he's like that. But my God, dude, what an unbelievable way to close out your career.
Yeah, man.
And
yeah.
just a major shout out to you, dude. It takes and also the EMS guys. It's everyone there. Like
EMS
clockwork.
guys, they did a great job too, man. Yeah, and all the guys, they did a fantastic job.
Clockwork.
Man.
These guys work.
Think about how many people were saved. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people lost their life there. But think about how many people were saved.
Yeah.
That that would without a doubt. I mean, just looking at that guy under 35 and hearing from what a few people told me about the job, how it was, and what they were doing and how they were getting people out of there is incredible.
Yeah, they were getting their balls kicked in that job too, man.
Yeah.
How about the engines? I think it was 75 engine. I think it was 80, 75, 88, 48. I believe I could be wrong. I'm horrible with the numbers in the Bronx.
Yeah.
But I think it was 75, 48. Gave the 1075, and it could have been.
Yeah, 48 gave the 77. He gave it 1077. Right. Cool as a cucumber.
Oh yeah, that was another thing. Petey, show 27 truck. I think 56 or 27. Again, those guys on the aerials there. I know 27 backed in Like, I mean, that building was kind of offset off it wasn't like right on the street either. So those guys get the aerials. You know, you don't see that often, like the way that rig is right there, right, Steve? I mean, it's very rare that you see a rig backing into the building like that and having.
That's a good chauffeur. That's a good chauffeur. Guy who knows his rig, the guy who knows the capabilities. You know what he can do with it. There's a it's a world of difference. With somebody who's really, really good with the rig. There are guys that are very, very good. Like anything else.
Yeah. All right, tells you how much smoke there is. Look at how many windows are broken that high up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you go all the way up. They take windows all the way up there in the top.
Jeez. And look at this. Just grab after grab.
Yeah, man, those guys, fantastic job.
Absolute heroes, man. And you know, what a horrible thing to happen, but what a good look for the FDNY. You know, as always, you know, just these guys putting it in. Look at
that picture right there, man.
Jesus freaking Christ.
Dude, that ain't until you're up there.
Oh, no. Listen.
Until pulling people off, out of a window. Like
I had a bullshit. You saw my house in Long Beach, Kev, right?
Yeah.
And we had like some squirrel holes like up top, and I had to go to the roof to do it. I put the ladder up. I got a quarter up the ladder. I was like, no, this is just not for me. Yeah. I'm not doing this. And I came right back down and collapsed the ladder. And
you have the look, the same look that when you had the fire like 4 doors down.
I checked out. Check out Charlie. I was gone.
So Timmy Clark said it was 48 engine, 75 engine, 88, and then 56 and 33 truck.
Look at these guys, man. Just doing it.
Yeah, for people to come out, even a window that's small. It's if they fall off and you're on you're below them like he is, it happens all the time. People slip. They're never on ladders,
Yeah. Do we have Timmy Klett? Do we have him lined up for the show?
I believe. I thought you spoke to him. You didn't speak to him.
I did. I got him on the calendar over there. He's coming on. Yep.
Wow.
There's people waving.
Jeez.
The child guards, right? It's like jail.
Oh, yeah, it is like jail. It's awful.
Yeah.
Oh,
somebody's saying, giving a shout out, Matt Zimpler, Ladder 27 chauffeur. Great job, Matt. Dynamite job, bro.
Yeah, dynamite job to every single person there, man. Even the cops controlling the scene.
Listen, I don't want to make fun, but she's got a mask on at least. I don't know.
Yeah, thank God.
Maybe she was using that for the smoke. Could have been.
It could have been. I mean, people probably thought they could do any,
Yeah, it looks like she just got out of the shower too or something. I don't know.
And everyone looked like they got,
Do you know him, Steve? Chief? Holy crap! He looks like
I know him. I know his face. I forget what
How old
his name
is that guy?
I know him. I remember his face.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everyone looks like they took a beating, man.
Job's getting young, huh, Chief Steve?
That's why I'm out.
That's it. You won't catch him limping around anymore.
This is one of my favorite shots right here. Jeez. What an outstanding job, boys. Outstanding.
Great job.
Yeah,
I
man.
wonder what's going to happen with that building.
Frankie Sutphin, my boy's back in the chat.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to find out what goes on with this building and if it's if it's going to get condemned and then they rebuild it or what.
Yeah. All right.
Because it's outside of the purview of New York City fire laws, right? That's why there's no sprinklers and
I don't
all
know.
that, right?
We'll find out for sure. We don't know. We don't want to. We're just speculating right now. We don't know.
Right.
Any last minute thoughts, Chief? Great job. Great perspective as always from Chief Steve.
Yeah, Chief. Thank you for coming on.
Someone keeps putting these silly songs up about you. I don't know who the hell that is. When I find them, though, there's going to be hell to pay when I find that guy.
Look at his face. You know what I wanted to, there was a few quick thing.
Yes, go ahead.
The end of that report from
I got
87.
Yep.
The WNYF. Just get to the last lessons
reinforced.
There was a couple of things there. One of the things that I remember, when you enter in an elevator in a high rise, you shine the light up through up the shaft in between the gap just to see if you could see smoke. A lot of times you could see pretty far up. You'd be surprised. So that's something that, you should do. We used to do that in the projects a lot. And then again, everybody wants to get to the fire floor as fast as possible, but I'm assuming if you had, it says here the same thing. You should be stopping every 5 floors you know, just to make sure that you have elevator controls. That was something that that they had also put in this thing. And on this job, these guys, you know, used to turn your mask on, right? As soon as you get out, you see you had a job, you turn your mask on, right? These guys had their air on, and if they didn't in the elevator, they weren't on air, but they had their bottles turned on. That when they opened up on the 13th floor, it was lights out, legit lights out. And they did everything that they could to scramble out of there to get to.
Right. You're talking about the
stairway.
86 back in 86,
job,
not this
correct.
job. Right, back in 86. Right.
No, we're talking about the lessons learned.
I just wanted to make sure that they knew that, the guys in the chat. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Ruffy's got a couple old school tip of the day.
Well, those were things that as soon as I read it, I remember we used to do that quite a bit, especially in the projects. Most of the time, that was all we had as far as high rise. So
PJs.
Yeah. And again, shout out to FDRV, where we pulled the video from on YouTube. Go follow that channel. If you guys want to see the remainder of the video, obviously very cool stuff. The stuff is out there, but we always like to give credit to everybody out there because you know, you deserve it. You went out there and got the footage and you got the content, and we thank you for that, because it gave us something to talk about. And obviously, with the amount of people we had in the chat tonight, outstanding. 1,154 people at one point. This is a hot topic, no pun intended. But is he singing? What's he doing?
He's singing.
Oh my God!
I wasn't going to take a leak if that's what you thought.
Yeah,
Oh, come on! That's not funny at all. Who was that?
Yes, dickhead.
All right, listen. So, just because a lot of guys asking, yes, Lieutenant Timmy Klett is the 10th of February. Vinny Dunn is the 17th of February. Let's see. The 18th, guys, we're not doing a Monday, the 17th. The 18th is John Solka. The 20th is the guy from Chicago, Ruffy. I don't have his name. Hard Charger from Chicago. And there's a couple other guys we got in the work. So that's what's coming up.
I got Jeff the Skull from Harrisburg.
Detroit? Oh, Jeff the Skull. What day is he?
I think we're shooting for the 24th, Monday the 24th.
Is that a fish shizzle?
Yeah.
Yo, Harrisburg does work, bro.
Word.
All right.
7514.
Well, I can tell you for sure there'll be no more silly Chief Steve songs. No more of that nonsense going on.
No.
Nope.
I'm not doing it tonight.
First
Kev.
Street. What is that? First Street?
I'm not doing it. Not on this show. Not tonight.
Next time.
No.
We'll start off with. I'm very excited, Pete. I got my GoPro camera up and running. So me and Chief Steve.
We gotta go through the settings. We gotta go through the settings.
Yes, please. We can go through our new segment. Chief Steve and I. He's excited about it, aren't you?
Excellent. And I gotta give you some tips and tricks.
You are. You are. He wants to hang out with me. I know. Yes. Okay.
I gotta give you some. Yeah. He loves you. He loves you.
Listen, it's FDNY. It's Manhattan. It's old city history. He loves this stuff. Loves it.
Chief, he's gonna punish you now in your retirement by dragging you into this mess. You know.
Yep. I got my own camera that Pete suggested. My audio video guy. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just something simple and easy for you to run around with. But I got to get you the right settings, or else it's going to look like
you do that.
Fisheye.
All right. All right, Pete. Why don't we didn't do any commercials? So why don't you plug it up?
All right. I mean, we're doing a show this Thursday, so I think we could save 360 because we do that at the head of the show.
On Thursday's show.
Exactly. So, guys, you know the deal. Everybody, iTunes, podcast, Spotify. That's where you find the audio version of this when you're on the way to the gym, working out, driving, driving yourself crazy. I don't know, whatever. Head on over there and you can find us wherever fine audio podcasts are found. Guys, if you're here at youtube.com/Gettin Salty Experience, hit the like, subscribe, and share button. Guys, please, just like it and subscribe. That's it.
Come on, Chief Steve's going to be on a fixed income at some point. You know, it's paycheck to paycheck. Help him out.
We got to help him out with that ankle and his knee and whatever else is going on. For crying out loud, man. All right. Also, guys, if you're on Instagram, follow us at Salty Dog Inc. That's where you find a lot of the last minute info for the show. GettinSaltyApparel.com is where you will find all of our apparel and accessories, firefighter apparel and accessories, guys, stuff like this. and T-shirts and hats and hoodies. It's hoodie season. Go get yourself one. Support the show, guys. Thank you to everyone in the super chats. A special thank you to Susie who broke out some of her communion money last week. Yeah, she hit us up.
Love you, Susie.
I couldn't believe it. You could hear the creaking of the wallet open. Actually,
He did. When the bill came out, he squint from the. It's like, shit, it's light out here.
It was like Raiders of the Lost Ark when they opened the Ark. Yeah,
hey, before you go any further, somebody in the chat wants to know if you beat me up a lot as a kid when I was a kid.
Oh no, I didn't.
No, I'll tell you what he really did. He would beat up my brother that's older than me, and then the shit would roll downhill. He had nobody to beat up but me, so he would beat me up. And
I used to hold him so that you could ruin his.
Right. Well, that was torture for him, but you would torture him so much that he had nobody else to torture, so he would torture me. Then he would pay my twin sister cash to knock the shit out of me in the living room, and they would all sit around and watch and laugh, while my twin sister.
That's funny.
What?
That was pretty funny, though.
That's a true story.
Chief Steve's mean too, apparently. Look at that. Unbelievable. All right. And guys, also the Gettin Salty fans page. It was a wonderful thing today when I kind of threw up a last minute thumbnail for tonight. It's where you get a ton of information about the show, guys, which is on every Monday and Thursday at 8 p.m. unless otherwise noted. For all the new listeners who are out there who may be asking, thank you for asking. We appreciate that. We'll try and make that more of an announcement at the beginning of every show. Gettin Salty experience at gmail.com. Guys, if you have general questions for us that we put on our Q&As, email us there. And if you guys have questions for the Cup of Joe and Fuego show that we try to do weekly, it's coobspodcast@gmail.com. Guys, we want your helmet cam footage from your fires. We want fire photos, father-son, family fire photos.
You know what we want, Pete. Which one do we want?
Hot wife contest. Hey, it's not a contest, but we should. I think we need. You know what I think we need to do? Well, we should go to Florida, and we should make the Gettin Salty universe contest for the wives, for the hottest wives of the year.
Bring your wife with you,
right? But instead of like reading something and talking about how they want to save the world, they have to like force a door, something like that. Their husbands have to get involved in the game.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
We're going to dinner with Procaccini and his old lady. She was. Yep.
I gotta dress up.
Yeah. Yeah. She did
impress her.
Okay. Yep. Chief's got the puzzled look on his face.
Yeah.
I'm just not asking for daughters.
No, I would not do such a thing. How dare you?
Yeah, I know.
I do have a line, believe me. I do have someone. Yeah.
Anyway, we'll figure out maybe.
And if guys, get a hold of Jose or Alan Schupp or Hank or for the trip down to Florida, the St. Patty's Day. It's March 11th. That Friday, we're going to try to do a live show down there, and then Saturday.
Talk about that. There's a lot
Saturday
of
is the Saturday is the crazy St. Patty's Day parade they have in Naples, Florida. So if you go in, contact those guys, please.
Oh my God!
If you want to bring your hot wife, I'm not opposed to it.
It's going to be something. Anyway, guys, that is all the news that's fit to print.
Yes. What do they call that when you're like the godfather of what do they call that?
The Grand Poobah?
No, like they use it in rap a lot. You're the
MC, the master of ceremony.
No, I'm just gonna say the goat of hot old ladies is that guy sitting right there, bro. That guy, Chief Steve.
Oh,
that guy, he knows his. Maron.
Oh, he knows how to do it.
He's sitting there. He's just sitting there. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Listen, I know I married up. Chief Steve married up for shizzle, no doubt. I love that show. Oh my God, how could you not, Ruffy? Right? We were like 11, 12 years old.
We used to go. We used to go to we used to go to Myrtle Avenue. What was the place over
Pants
there?
Pantry.
Oh,
give them a little
love going over there.
Oh my God, my sister-in-law is beautiful.
Beautiful.
All right. Yep. We'll leave it on that.
Procaccini called him the Gilf Hunter. Nice one, Procaccini. Oh, shit. God, my eyes are watering.
All right. That's all I got. Chief, thanks for coming on again.
Yeah, great
Love it.
insight, Chief.
Sure, we'll get more
Great insight.
information in the coming weeks. What happens?
I'm sure we'll have you on, and I look forward to getting out on the street with you with my new GoPro camera. Excellent.
Ooh,
Yes,
Yep.
dickhead.
Yes, dickhead.
All right.
Shit.
All right, we'll leave
this
it
is
at
what we
that.
get from Chief Steve. Yeah,
Yes, dickhead.
All right.
super excited.
I love it.
All right, fellas. All right, we'll see you at the next show. You know what I always say. Yep.
Thanks,
Adios.
Chief.
Have a good night. It's getting
Take
late.
care.
Gotta get to bed. I'm old.
You better
Yeah,
get to
yeah.
bed. Take your Ensure. Don't forget to take your Centrum Silver and get right in bed tonight.
Watch your
all right?
Matlock and pass out.
Matlock.
All right, Blue.
Love it. All right, fellas. Stay
Okay.
low and go.
All right, we'll see you at the big one, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.